Modern courtrooms typically present as traditional halls of justice while functioning as administrative sandboxes. To enter them is to cross a specific legal threshold. Many individuals proceed with the implicit assumption that constitutional protections are active and inherent in every legal proceeding simply by virtue of their presence. This assumption overlooks an ancient and unyielding legal maxim: the law does not protect he who slumbers on his rights. When a person enters a courtroom and fails to explicitly claim their standing, the system interprets that silence as agreement. Standing mute effectively grants consent to play by internal administrative roles. The historical architecture of the legal system reveals why this happens. It is divided into two parallel houses, the House of Equity and the House of Common Law. Rights are often lost because a participant fails to identify which of these two houses they occupy when they finally speak to a judge. Historically, the House of Equity served as a petition system. When an English citizen found no remedy in the standard law, they could ask the king for a special favor. The king delegated this absolute discretionary decision-making power to a deputy, known as a chancellor. The modern equity system operates on this same principle. It functions as an administrative arena, governed by legislative statutes, commercial codes, and the personal discretion of the presiding officer. In an equity court, the roles of magistrate, the keeper of order, and the tribunal, the finder of facts, converge into a single node, the judge. Filing a standard legal complaint is the structural equivalent of petitioning a chancellor. It subjects the participant to discretionary rules and the possibility of endless appellate reviews. The House of Equity centralizes absolute power in the state. The citizen occupies the position of a subject, petitioning the court for leniency. The second structure is legally distinct from specialized statute law. Common law is the law of the people, established by custom and usage since time immemorial. This architecture dates back to the Magna Carta. It abolished the superior power of the crown, ensuring inherent rights couldn't be overridden by absolute authority. A significant shift occurred in the mid-20th century. Prior to 1968, the official definition of a court of record required a physical separation of powers within the courtroom. Under this traditional structure, the magistrate acts as a referee, disconnected from the actual tribunal. The tribunal consists solely of the jury. In the House of Common Law, the sovereign people hold authority to determine both the facts and the law itself. Because the people make the decision, a ruling from a true court of record is final and unreviewable by any higher state or appellate court. Over time, the government merged these separate houses. Statutes expanded, the lines between magistrate and tribunal blurred, and the traditional definition of a court of record was removed from legal dictionaries. Layers of executive administrative codes and redefined legal terminology eventually obscured the historical power of the sovereign people. How does an individual transition out of an administrative setting and back into the structure of common law? The transition begins by explicitly challenging the court's jurisdiction. A formal jurisdictional challenge requires the administrative machine to halt. Legally, the proceedings cannot continue while the challenge is pending. This move shifts the burden of proof to the accuser. They must demonstrate on the record that they possess legitimate authority over a sovereign individual. Many people attempt to use statutory codes to fight other statutory codes. This approach keeps the participant inside the equity house, bound by its discretionary rules. The common law remains intact and accessible. An effective defense depends on identifying the architectural structure of the court before proceedings begin.